Hey guys, so welcome to my top 10 for 2011 metal video. Just one quick thing, that this is my opinion, my list, and anything that I say on this video, I pretty much mean. I'm just going to be honest with you guys, and if you disagree with my opinions or something I say on this video, I apologize, but I'm just going to be me and tell you guys what's up. Alright, so number 10 for this year, Deranged, Cut, Carve, Rip, Serve. This is a brutal masterpiece. There's so much I could say about this album, and you know, I could go into a whole nother review on it. I've had so much time to listen to this album over the year, and this is just a brutal masterpiece. The more I listen to it, the more I get into Deranged. They are still as heavy as they were back in '98. You know, back when they came out in the late 90s, they were heavy, and they're still heavy now. It's amazing that this band hasn't sold out or anything, and they're not as big as, you know, Devourment or Deicide or Amon Amarth. I'm really surprised that these guys aren't as big as the other bands. This is a great release, a great band, and you should check out anything by Deranged. But especially this, Cut, Carve, Rip, Serve. Alright, so number 9 for this year is Abdicates, Transcend Through Sacrifice. Now, for anybody who's looking to get into brutal death metal or even try to, you know, convince somebody else to get in brutal death metal, any of Abdicate's albums will do, but this is the main one I would give people. Not because it's their brand new sound, it's their brand new album, but because it represents the genre so well. The guitar riffing is brutal, fast, and in your face. The drumming is ultra fast, super amazing. You know, it goes from the trash can style drumming to the normal style drumming, and then the vocals. As a vocalist, I respect this guy's vocals with a passion. He has such a powerful low that it's brutal, it's heavy, and throughout the whole album it stays in your face and it stays right there. Alright, so 10, 9, 8 for this year. Slamination's Procreating a New Body Art. Now, before everybody starts freaking out, yes, this is an EP. I got this off Severed Records, and this is an absolute masterpiece for slam death metal. I had to include it on my top metal albums for this year because it is just so heavy, so brutal, and it's really catchy and something fun you can listen to. The slams are catchy, fun, and just brutal and in your face at times. Sometimes they're packed with intensity, and sometimes they're packed with, you know, headbang to it. The vocals are just super catchy. This vocalist has, you know, kind of a powerful style, but not too much. He has the more clear and understandable lows and the more pig squealish guttural noise. So that is a very good treat. And one quick thing, if my camera will focus, I have 150 of 200. I got this off Severed Records. Get this while you can. The only complaint I have for this album, literally the only complaint I have, is that it's way too short. It's only 4 tracks. But hey, it's an EP. But looking forward to what Slamination comes out with here soon. Number 10, 9, 8, 7. Number 7 for this year, Rest in Gore's Culinary Buffet of Hacked Innards. Now, if you are a fan or a fanatic of slam death metal from Japan, Rest in Gore is your band. They have been out, you know, for a long time now. Their Leaving People Victimized split is a slam death metal classic. If you talk to anybody who listens to slam death metal, everybody knows Rest in Gore's Leaving People Victimized split. When I got wind of this coming out, I was excited, I was happy. This is brutal, it's heavy, and it's just amazing. If you are remotely into slam death metal from Japan, check it out. You guys will love it, and it's just really catchy. The riffing is absolutely catchy as hell on this album. I find myself playing these riffs throughout my head the whole time, you know, whether I'm at work or I'm in the car driving or I'm even listening to the album. But one complaint, I told a few people that this was going to be high up on my list this year, but I had to bring it down simply because of this factor. You know, I've had a long time to listen to this album ever since the beginning of the year pretty much, and the riffing on this album, a lot of the songs sound formulated off one riff. Not all of them, but a lot of them, and that really brought it down because I could hear the same chords being played, but in a different formulated manner. So take that as you will. Still a great Japanese slam release for this year. Alright, so number 6 for this year, One More Victim's Dominion. Now, before everybody starts freaking out, yes, this is a deathcore album, but give these guys a chance. You know, I'm an extreme metalhead, and I usually try to stay away from deathcore as much as possible unless I find it to be really good sounding and just really brutal. This is one of those bands that is really heavy and has their own unique sound. Now, along with the, breakdowns, the high screams and powerful low screams, the bass drops, the guitar riffing, the drums, aside from all the normal standards of deathcore, these guys have their own unique sounds. And it's so hard to explain because on the third track, I'm just going to show you the third track because I can't pronounce it. It has around in 22 seconds. That is my favorite riff of this year. It's brutal, and it's not even so much heavy. It's just so brutal and heavy sounding to hear. It's like this medieval time, simple played guitar riff that's just heavy and just, it's amazing, And it really makes you feel like you're in a battlefield. Now, there is no vocal rapping like a lot of deathcore bands have been doing, which is something I really appreciate because I am not a fan of the new rapping style that deathcore has gone towards. It really just shows how much mainstream is in deathcore, and, I appreciate the underground bands of deathcore, but give these guys a shot. One More Victims, Dominion. I'd suggest anybody pick this up. Alright, so my number 5 for this year, Carnal Disfigurements, Inhuman Devoured, Content from Carnal Cavity. This is my favorite slam death metal release for this year. Along with the slams being packed with intensity, a brutal punch in their face, a kick in the balls, the vocals are catchy, the slams, they're subtle, packed with intensity. When the guitar riff kicks in, when it goes into the slam, it's just heavy, brutal, and it doesn't stop. I mean, there's, on the fourth track, there's this little thing where they do an explosion where it really adds to the effect of the slam. I found at first that this was a little bit repetitive, but when I first started listening to this, I got used to the sound, and I see it more heavy now. It gives it more of a unique sound to these guys, but definitely looking at what Carnal Disfigurement's coming to in the future. Really nothing that much brand new on here, but the vocals are super catchy, the slams are heavy, packed with intensity, and this is an absolute must-have for any slam death metal head. Alright, so number 4 for this year, Anal Addictions, Sluts. Now, I've had this album pretty much since January of this year. It's heavy, it's packed with intensity, and brutal. Along with these guys playing a slam death metal style, they add in some death grind, some brutal death metal, slam death metal, thrash, grindcore. They mix so much stuff into this, little album here that it's amazing that there's so many people don't know about this band. They pretty much in this album have every element that any extreme metalhead would want, Whether you like power violence, whether you like grindcore, whether you like brutal death metal, slam death metal, rather you like any extreme metal genre, they have pretty much everything in here that is possible. Along with the riffing and everything being super fast paced, the slams are just super catchy and packed with intensity. Not so much as Carnal Disfigurement's packed with intensity, but the intensity of the slams is still there. It's heavy, it's brutal, and yeah, the vocals on this go from these really just deep lows to the hardcore shouts, and that really stuck out in my mind. But yeah, very great. If you're into like anything, like ranging from porno grind to slam death metal, brutal death metal, thrash, grindcore, power violence, I mean, the list goes on and on and on. These guys are great, and I've had the pleasure of being able to talk to these guys, over Facebook and such. Really great, chill dudes, and just really awesome people, and a great and awesome band. Now, number 3 for this year, Alienation Mental's self-titled Alienation Mental. This was the last release before Alienation Mental broke up, and wow. If you've heard Alienation Mental's past stuff before, in the past, you're going to be blown away. This is a completely new, different sound. It's brutal. It's a lot more heavy. It's a lot more just sped up with speed and chaos. This is death grind at its best. And this right here is an album that should be considered a classic in my opinion. The vocals are super heavy. They've changed from these deep and gutturals to these super powerful lows, ranging from the midish low scream to the lows to the highs. The vocalist has this very brand new, just super powerful low scream and super powerful style. The guitar riffing goes from the first 2 tracks of being catchy and somewhat rhythm going into complete chaos, the riffing going all over the place, super fast, super heavy, brutal, and in your face throughout the whole album. The bass, you know, it just gives up on this album. This is one of those albums where you can hear the bass prominent and it doesn't let you down whatsoever. The drumming is why this is on my top 3 for this year. I understand I'm a vocalist and I do respect, you know, the vocalist, but the drumming on this album is packed with intensity, power, and speed. You know, this this drummer is super fast. He does the trash can style drumming. I understand that not a lot of people like that, and you find the trash can style drumming to get really, really repetitive, boring, and just really gets annoying after a while. This guy is fast paced. He also keeps a rhythm with the drums, but when it goes into speed and chaos, this guy has to be one of the fastest drummers that I've heard in a long time. Great, brutal. I wish this band didn't break up, but a few of the band members did. I'll put a link below. They formed another band called Perfect Citizen. I believe they have an EP out. I honestly haven't had the chance to check out the new EP, so click on the link below to their Facebook and check them out. Number 2 for this year, Landmine Marathon's Gallows. Now, for those of you who don't know who Landmine Marathon are, because I didn't really know who these guys are, they are, I don't know what to consider them, because they play a mixture of death metal slash metalcore slash thrash and slash deathcore kinda. You know, it's really just a mix of everything, and there's no label on this. I was listening to the vocalist on an interview, and a lot of people have been asking the band what do they consider themselves as, and the vocalist said, you know, we don't really try to consider ourselves in music or what kind of genre we are. We just play the music we kind of love and we go with it. And whatever you get is the outcome of this album. And another thing about this, the vocalist is a female vocalist. Now, usually I'm not a fan of female vocalists, not because of anything with female vocalists, but most female vocalists do fry screaming, and I hate fry screaming. I hate it with such a passion that I can't even describe to you people. Fry screaming just annoys the living fuck out of me. But this vocalist, she does deathcore screaming like Light This City used to. She's actually kind of similar in the voice of Light This City and Arch Enemy. But, you know, great vocalist. The riffing on this album is absolutely, goes from brutal heavy to melodic and beautiful sounding. The drumming is fast paced and it also goes from melodic. You know, the vocalist on here is what really caught my eye for being a female vocalist. She does hold her own in a, you know, genre that's filled with males. She holds her own. She's a great sounding vocalist and one of my favorite female vocalists that I've heard, and she's definitely up there. So yeah, my favorite female vocalist and favorite like mixture of all kinds of genre really. Landmine Marathon's The Gallows. Pick this up. My number 1 for this year. Now, if you saw my review for this, you know, I was a little bit like, I was excited for this album. I was just thrilled to get this album, let alone be able to listen to it. This shouldn't really be a surprise for you guys who saw the review. Big End Bolts, Mechanical Race Creation. Now, first off, before I get into explaining why this is my number 1, that artwork is pretty sickening, gory, and it's kind of awesome. I think that's some brutal artwork. Thumbs up. Now, this album is packed brutal death metal style with the riffing going from technical to guitar solos to brutal, heavy, in your face, the bass dropping, the drums super fast paced, and the vocals. The vocals are definitely what caught my eye on this album. The vocalist has his own unique style. He has just this brutal low that's mixed with the normal guttural, and it's so hard to explain, and me as a vocalist, I can only hope that I can learn how to even come close to that vocal. The powerful style is just so powerful and just, it's fucking awesome. Best way to, it's fucking brutal and awesome and heavy and in your face. One of the best vocalists for 2011, hands down in my opinion. You know, along with that, he also mixes his slam death metal gutturals, which not a lot of people do. Usually you need like 2 vocalists for that when I see bands do it, which I don't understand why, because both the styles are not that complicated to do. But he does both the styles. He's just heavy. The vocalist is absolutely like #1 reason why this is on my list. But along with it, The guitar riffing is technical, heavy. They have some little just plays in here from movies and such, but they're not repetitive. You know, there's only like 2 of them in there. There's not a whole bunch of these little plays in there. So, you know, it won't get repetitive like a whole bunch of porno grind stuff has. It's just super heavy. The instrumentals are fucking blasting and blazing throughout this album. The vocalist is brutal, heavy, and in your face throughout the album. So my number 1, Big N Bolt's Mechanical Race Creation. Now, one thing I like to say if you got through this video, I like to apologize for looking all over the place. I have my stove and I'm actually cooking dinner right now, and I'm actually watching the timer on my computer so I know when to take the stuff out. So I apologize if my eyes kind of went all over the place in this video. But yeah, great releases for this year, and this list was really hard. Hope you all have a good time doing your list, and I hope you all enjoyed this video. Happy holidays, happy New Year's. Hope you all get wasted, get hammered, get stoned, party like a fucking rock star. Yeah, and if you're staying at home, join the club, dude. I'm probably just gonna play video games the whole time, or I'm probably gonna go over to a friend's house. So we're all gonna see what happens. Hope you all have a great New Year. Happy holidays, and I'll see y'all next year. Sign out.